James Harden in many ways has changed who he is on the court. Some of the things that made him an all-time great, he doesn't quite do as well anymore, while on the other hand, there are things he's arguably doing better than he's ever done before. Back during his Houston Rockets days, he had this uncanny, never-before-seen ability to lull defenders to sleep in isolation, get in front of them on drives, and keep them on his back. These clips from a few seasons ago illustrate that. Here are some interesting numbers to emphasize Harden's deceptive speed, as well as his skill of manipulating defenders with sudden bursts during his prime. His blow-by percentage on drives during the 2019-20 season was 52.3%. The year before, in 2018-19, it was 42.8%. This season with Philadelphia, his blow-by percentage is just 18.9%, the lowest of his career. These clips here kind of accentuate that. Also not quite the same is the step-back three-pointer via his flashy dribble combination packages. In the 2017-18 season, which was his MVP year, he shot 41% on step-back threes. The following season, he made 38.6% of them. This year, his percentage on these shots is 35.7%, and he's taking fewer of them per game than in any of the last 4 seasons. You can see from these clips some differences between the step-back threes he took when he was in his prime versus now. There's less separation, and it doesn't look quite as smooth or sharp as it used to. While Harden is still third in the league in isolation shot attempts per game, with 5.3 of them, that's far less than what it used to be. In 2018-19, for instance, he took over 13 of them per contest. But even though he doesn't possess the zip and pizzazz that he once had, Harden, you could argue, now plays in a way that might be best for optimal team success. He's leading the league in assists per game. There's a lot to dissect with his passing and playmaking as a whole that is super impressive. For one, the percentage of times he turns the ball over off the pass is the lowest it's been since at least the 2013-14 season, when this stat started getting tracked. Only 2.4% of the time do his passes lead to a turnover. In his prime with the Rockets, it was usually around 4%. He's just simply making more passes as well. This season so far, he's averaging 72.4 passes per game. During his Rockets days, he averaged around the mid-50s, except in 2016-17 when he averaged around 67. That was the year he led the NBA in assists with 11.2 of them per game. This year, he's averaging more kickout passes that lead directly to shots than ever before, with 4.4 of them per game. Just as an example, in 2018-19, he averaged 2.9 kickout passes that led directly to a shot. Last season, with both Brooklyn and Philly combined, he averaged 3.9. Just based on the numbers, it's quite amazing how much better Harden's teammates shoot when he is the one distributing them the ball this season. Joel Embiid is shooting 60.1% when Harden delivered him the pass, 8% higher than his percentage in general. Tobias Harris is shooting 55.9% when Harden dished it to him, 6% better than his general season percentage. George Niang is at 52.8% with Harden as the assister, about 7% higher than his season shooting percentage. And PJ Tucker, who obviously is very familiar with Harden, having played with him for several years in Houston, is shooting 51.5% when the pass came to him from Harden, and that's 10% higher than his season percentage. I think a big reason for all this is Harden's excellent basketball IQ. He identifies which teammates on each possession have the most favorable matchups or in the best positions to score based on what the defense is presenting. What's flying under the radar a little bit is Harden's defense. Of all players who have been the closest defender to at least 200 shots this season, Harden has the 9th best defensive field goal percentage at 40.6% according to Second Spectrum, and that's really helping Philly's defense. Right now, the Sixers have the 4th best defensive rating in the league. Through 23 games, Harden is averaging 22.1 points, 6 rebounds, 10.8 assists, and 1.4 steals, shooting 42.5% from the field and 36.4% from three-point range. He's also averaging 7 free throw attempts per game. So that will wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I will continue to do more player analysis features throughout the season.